Okay. Okay. We're good. So like I said, we lost about 12 laps there. The second stage is more than halfway in the books, as we're down to 6 laps left in stage number 2 here. It is Chase Greer leading over Charles Stevens Jr., Brad King, Josh Hall, Joshua King, Jorge Ledesma Jr., Ryan Gomez, Zach Stevens, Justin Parham, and Matthew Fritz, your top 10. From winning stage number 1 to settling into the pack here, Justin Parham was your pole sitter. It looks like Kenneth Redinger is a lap down, actually, 21st. So we must have missed a wreck during the internet outage there. Redinger had a good run going here tonight. At the outside line starting to materialize here was Zach Stevens with a group of pushers behind him. Looks like our pole sitter, Justin Parham, on that outside line trying to get the push started. And this could be the push to try and get a stage win here. With about 2 to 3 laps left in the stage. Are they going to be fighting for a stage win? Or is it going to end in catastrophe? Whoa, it gets a little bit out of control there for the 19 of Parham. He gets back behind the 33 of Stevens. As they're rolling high, wide, and handsome around turn 3 and on the way out of turn 4. Chase Greer has dominated the second stage here, and it looks like he might be smooth sailing. Whoa, the 33 got a little bit loose there. That could have been trouble. Luckily, he saved it. And that would have been in front of your pole setter. '81 of Josh Hill's moving up into the top 5 here. Looking on the inside maybe of the 4. 4 gets back in line though. 84 Charles Stevens Jr. and the 40 of Chase Greer just in ahead. Here we are, the final lap in stage 2. Is anyone gonna toy with the idea of trying to take it away from Chase Greer? Or are they gonna be content riding behind, save their stuff for when it matters the most, getting that big win at the end of the race? Halfway through And the racing has been pretty tame so far. But it's just the calm before the storm. Here we go, Josh. All going high. He's going to look around the outside, thinking about maybe fighting for a stage win here. Does he have a good enough push from the 12? Not quite. The 40. Chase Greer gets the stage win here. And so now Greer joins the likes of Kenneth Redinger as stage winners this season. Now this is where all the money stops are made. They're not going to be able to make it to the finish with just one more stop, so it's, you know, it's still going to make a difference where they come out during this round of pit stops. Definitely do not want to lose too many spots, but you do want to try to set yourself up for success on the final push, the second half of the race here tonight. The calm before the storm, as it is often termed. I do feel like that's what's setting up here. 50 laps in, it's been pretty relaxed, pretty tame, but who knows what kind of chaos is waiting around the corner here for the second half of tonight's race. I do want to apologize again, folks, that the internet pooped out on me. I've been making adjustments on my end feverishly to try and adjust and to pretty much prepare for the unknown, because I don't know when it's gonna cut out on me. The weird part is, as soon as I unplug things, plug it back in kind of thing, it'll work again. So it's just weird. And I don't know if it's the internet provider, I don't know if it's my computer. I wish I was a little bit more tech savvy to actually diagnose those problems. It just seems to be my luck with technology, so I sincerely apologize. Thank you, everyone has tuned in here tonight. Hopefully, knock on wood, we don't have any more hiccups. If all we missed was 12 laps here tonight, that would be a win in my books. I apologize that it gets scattered between 2 and 3 different broadcasts. That's just the way the streaming program works. Whenever I hit the go button, it's recording directly to the end repository versus not recording. So it just resets it and it's annoying, I get it. But we should be getting set up here for the second half, the big push to the finish here tonight. So Chase Greer had led the second stage there, won the second stage, and he's setting up for the restart from the front row. He races for Venom Racing. Charles Stevens Jr., the number 84, has had a decent run here tonight so far. And Charles Stevens races for Cypress Academy. It's a team name we haven't heard yet tonight, so that's one of their drivers. '33 of Zach Stevens running in third right now. He currently races for Venom Racing as well, or is at least associated with the team, as is Justin Parham. And they've got Josh Hill, who races for Neon Racing. As previously mentioned earlier in the broadcast here tonight, Matthew Fritz also racing for Venom Racing. Jesse Whittington in the 94, he drives for Cypress Academy. Joshua King races for Royalty Motorsports. And rounding out your top 10 here, Ryan Gomez races for Neon Racing alongside Josh Hall. So we're getting ready for the restart here. The lights are off on the pace car. It's going to be Chase Greer and Charles Stevens Jr. leading up to the restart. The pace car is off. And 45 laps remaining here tonight. Go get it while the getting's good. These drivers are going to have to figure out how to get to the front if they aren't there already. And those up there are going to have to figure out how to keep it and not let anyone else by them. 45 laps is just a hair over the fuel run here at Daytona, so you'll definitely see at least one more round of pit stops. Whether or not that's under green or with a caution is to be seen. 84 jumps to the lead there. Now the 19 of Parham also with a good push from Hall, working his way up to the front. And there you have Parham taking the lead. He's going to drop low on the inside line. This opens front air for Josh Hall on the outside line. As they go roaring through turn 3 side by side from about third on back. Your top 3 breaking away at the moment, but they're not going to let them break away too far, as you got Josh Hall with a good group of pushers right behind him. Josh Hall's doing that thing I was talking about earlier, kind of the side drafting. You know, you got to be very careful in iRacing to do the side drafting, because it could turn into a net code nightmare. But here we are, rolling to the lead. Josh Hall takes the lead for the first time here tonight, leads a lap. With a push from Ryan Gomez to get that lead. 19 of Parham's kind of settled in on the inside. This definitely feels like the moment where you kind of have to set up for the finish. They spent the first 50 laps figuring out what their cars had. Now it's time to put all the testing to work. Whatever their cars are capable of, they're going to be pushing them to the barren edge. Josh Hall keeping that lead. Gomez on the outside, and Garrett Walden in the number 43. We haven't said his name much here tonight. He's moving up into the top 5. Hall and Gomez nearly side by side there. As you got Neon Racing pretty much with a lockout up front. Or I guess a better way of explaining it, they've got the front of the line locked out on the outside and the inside. Here we go. Gomez with a good run on the outside. He's actually going to have the lead here briefly. Side by side. Drag racing down the backstretch now. Whoa! Hall got a little bit topsy-turvy there. Collects it, picks it up. Parham also got a little bit uncomfortable there. One of those oh crap moments. And that has given Gomez the lead. Gomez is going to drop down and work with his teammate here, it looks like. Drops down in front of Josh Hall. And now the two of them are hooked up nose to tail. Yeah, it looks like drivers that are laps down here tonight. Joe Irwin, Kenneth Redinger. Unfortunately, I wish we knew exactly what happened to Redinger, but he's minus 17 spots, back to 20th. Trey Spears, Josh Freed, Matt Bands, another one of the guys that had started up front here tonight, laps down. Lauren Vincent, Sylvain Seguin, Charles Balance, and Warren Kyle Keith. Those guys are the tail end of the field here tonight. Leaves us with 18 cars on the lead lap. All of a sudden, the 93 of Zach Lockett leads this race. That outside line kind of shuffled things up here. And out of nowhere, with a surprising, where did he come from, move of the race, Zach Lockett takes the lead. Along with John McNeil, Nathan Brzezowski. Those are three names that had not been up front very much here tonight, but they had to have used that outside line to gain all that track position. Parham goes way high to get up in that outside line. It looked kind of dangerous, but he wanted to get where the getting's good and try to move up through the field. He abandoned his inside line to take the outside line, and now he's going to work his way around. Ooh, and almost made it 3 wide, but decided better of it. That would have been hard to execute there for Charles Stevens Jr. to make it 3 wide and put him, the 19 of Parham, the meat in the middle. A little bit of lap traffic coming up here. Closing rate's going to be very dramatic, it looks like, as that blue car in the horizon is becoming bigger in your view. They're going around. That is the 39 of Josh Freed, who's already a lap down, going another lap down here tonight. As they work around lap traffic. Outside line starting to work its way up again. Nathan Brzezowski drops from the inside to hop up to the outside. as they're going to complete their 64th circuit around the track. That'll leave us with 35 laps to go here tonight. If they could somehow get a well-timed caution right about here, they could all pit and get enough fuel to go to the finish, just barely. As you add in the laps of caution, it would put them at about 30 laps to go. It would be it'd be close. I'm thinking the window is about 30 laps here at Daytona. '93 Zach Lockett leads the way. He drives for Adrenaline Racing. So the teams keep sneaking their way up into the front of the field. Different teams leading the race here tonight. And let's do another bounce back to Jesse Whittington since he's getting into the picture here. Whoa, and that's
yellow flag.
how fitting after you were involved or well, not involved. I would say he missed that wreck by a margin. Just take a sip of your drink and keep on rolling. So let's see exactly what the wreck was all about here. Let's find the best TV angle. This is right in front of Jesse Whittington as the wreck was happening. The 19 of Parham gets clipped there by the 84 of Stevens. Just one of those racing situations, I would say. 43 comes in and clips the 19, the 24 as well. The 3 spinning through the inside there. And this is a little bit further back. We'll see exactly how Joe Irwin spins out here. That is the 17 of Joshua King. And I think there might have just been some slowing up trying to avoid the wreck. He slid right across the nose of the 17 there. Whoa, a little bit of airborne going down there. I cut out right when it was getting a little bit wild. Yeah, it just lifted it a little bit. That's the new aero kit that they've got on these cars to keep them glued to the ground. Let's look at the in-car on Josh Hall here. I think it's going to be a scenic view as the wreck starts happening right in front of him. See the smoke. Goes down on the bumpy part. He didn't have as much drama as I thought it would. It looked like there was a lot of wrecking around him, but he drove through it pretty quickly. So after pit stops here, back up to the front, it's going to be Ryan Gomez leading over Vince Brent, Nathan Brzezowski, Zach Lockett, and Charles Stevens Jr. This is almost the perfect spot for a caution. It should put them pretty close to good to go all the way to the finish. But it's going to be tight. I mean, any green-white checkered overtime finishes might put them in a bit of a bind. So we'll have to see how the rest of the racing goes here. But I would wager we're not quite done with our cautions yet. This, you know, it's only going to get a little bit more amped up as the racing continues on here to the end. 30 laps. It'll be about 30 laps to go once the pace car pulls off. There's no telling how wild and crazy things might just get. And that is our lap traffic there in front of the leaders. They should pull off and pit or drop to the back once the lights turn off on the pace car. Oh, Gomez, okay, see, this is what I was talking about. It's really tight at this point. Looks like Gomez is going to come down and get another sip of fuel for the number 55, which is not a half bad move. Because you're like right at the cusp. You're right at the cusp of making it with the fuel that you've got, but at the same time, really risking it as well, so. There you go. Yeah, so some of them pitted a little earlier. These two, they waited to pit a little bit later so they could have just as much extra fuel in the tank by one lap even over the rest of the field. In racing, sometimes it's a game of increments, and who knows how much fuel is going to be left in the tank if this thing stays green to the finish for these two teammates, Josh Hall and Ryan Gomez. So resetting the field here for the lap 70 restart. It's going to be Vince Brent leading over Nathan Brzezowski, Zach Lockett, Charles Stevens Jr., Jorge Ledesma Jr., Jay Stinson, Jesse Whittington, Brad King, Matthew Fritz, and Joshua King. Pace car is going to pull off here and get ready for the restart with 30 laps left to go.
Green, green, green.
And here we are, back under thunder. Definitely interesting to see some of these new faces at the front of the field. Did get a wave around, it looks like. Kenneth Redinger back on the lead lap after getting Lucky Dog, wave around, whichever it might be. So Redinger, don't count him out. We know that he's capable of getting to the front and leading. Looks like he had a tough break at one point in the race that trapped him a lap down. He's already back up into 16th. Within this lead group here, keep your eyes on the 99. '77 getting around the outside. And now you got a Venom Racing duo, the teammates of Jay Stinson and Matthew Fritz moving through the field here on the outside. Matthew and Stinson drop to the bottom. 28 laps remaining. You got the 03 of Joe Irwin, who is tail end of the lead lap. Now he is a lap down. Nathan Brzezowski drives for Adrenaline Racing. Alrighty, 26 laps remaining here. It's the Venom Racing duo at the front still. They've caught up to Baines, who's gone laps down here today, unfortunately going another lap down. Neon Racing duo that pitted later of Ryan Gomes and Josh Hall. It looks like they've gotten split up here. Josh Hall going a bit rogue here, moving through the field up into the top 10, and Gomes still sitting at the back of the field, maybe waiting for that wreck or whatever might transpire here. So we'll see how the two teammates come to work together at the end of this one. It looks like at the moment Gomes is content with sitting at the back, holding on and holding out until something breaks out. And if it is a fuel numbers game, you might think about these drivers as saving a little bit extra fuel even after pitting to get that extra fuel. There's no reason to go, you know, full power all the way to the finish if you're worried about losing it on fuel here today. Josh Hall, quite the opposite. He's just blown through the field. He wants to get back up there and lead some laps. Well, the lap traffic is really factoring in here now, as I think your leaders are starting to realize that there might be some fuel numbers they need to meet. They're actually content with riding behind the lap traffic here to try and save some fuel. And we already know, obviously, Ryan Gomes and Josh Hall have a little bit more fuel in the tank, but is Josh Hall saving enough fuel under this aggressive pace that he's rolling with? Might we actually get another caution, or even the slight chance of green-white checkers later down the line? We'll definitely throw an added wrinkle to this race if that does happen. Here we have our in-car driver cam again with Jesse Whittington. Your defending champion and rookie of the year from the series, season 10. Well, the battle's going to start brewing between Neon Racing and Venom Racing, as Josh Hall right there behind Stinson, 48 of McNeil, whom I believe might be a privateer. I don't see which team he's driving for. 43 of Garrett Walden is that of Cypress Academy, just like Jesse Whittington. So you've got quite a few teams represented here in the top 5. Very specifically Venom, Neon, and Cypress. Getting down to the nitty-gritty now. And I do think what we're looking at right now is a lot of fuel save strategy. A lot of these teams that didn't pit. Oh, and they're wrecking.
Yellow flag.
And that is our in-car driver. Featured driver of the day, Jesse Whittington, getting involved in that one. And that, folks, just resets the whole battle for the finish here now. I caught it after the wreck. So that is Sylvain Seguin. And they're already wrecking in front of him. Alrighty, so here is how the wreck happens. It looks like the 17 is giving the 77 really, really strong push here. No, my bad. The 4 actually clips the 17 of Josh King, and that takes out the 94 of Whittington. The 44 also tied up in that. That's Jorge Ledesma Jr. 66 of Sylvain Seguin, who is already a couple laps down, gets collected in the wreck. And that is our caution here with about 15 laps to go. Now here's the game plan. Do you pit or do you try to stretch it? Oh, and that is, that's where things get interesting here. Some of these drivers know that track position is so huge. We saw Josh Hall fake him out. He thought he was going to pit. I believe he knew he wasn't going to pit and decided to stay out there, surprising those that were in front, that were behind him. And so Ryan Gomes works his way back up to 10th here. Josh Hall sits in 3rd, and this is the bed they've made for themselves. You know, obviously, strategizers, they can often out-strategize themselves. We'll see. You know, green-white checkers here today would definitely hurt some of these drivers on making it to the finish with the fuel numbers they've got. Of all the drivers, I do feel like Ryan Gomes here may be one of the best on fuel, as he sat in the back saving as much as he could, waiting for the time to hit the go button. Jay Stinson's definitely kind of shocked us here. After the first 2 stages, we hadn't heard much of his name, and all of a sudden he's up front leading all the laps right now with John McNeil in 2nd. Josh Hall, he's kept the throttle to the floorboard, fighting for all the track position he can gain here today. And then you've got the 43 of Garrett Walden, the 24 of Matt Parasini, Matthew Fritz, Nathan Berzowski, Brad King, Zach Lockett, and Ryan Gomes. Of those that have pitted, you've got Josh King, Vince Brent, Kenneth Redinger back in it. He could win it. Jorge Ledesma Jr., Zach Stevens, Justin Parham, Charles Stevens Jr., Joe Irwin back on the lead lap. Wave rounds, Lucky Dogs getting some of these drivers back in a fighting chance to win it. Josh Freed, Chase Greer, Jesse Whittington. It looks like the damage is minimal on that 94. He's back out there running in 21st. Trey Spears, and that's pretty much all our drivers that we've got in the lead battle here tonight. Top 22 cars. Alrighty, the lights are off on the pace car. We've got ourselves a shootout to the finish here tonight. And a whole handful of drivers back on the lead lap. This could get interesting, as it's going to be pretty much green light go all the way to the finish. There ain't going to be much fuel saving. Those that have the fresher tires might start blowing their way through the field here. Who knows? The pace car is going to make that hard left down pit road. and leave it all in the hands of these excellent race car drivers. Jay Stinson, John McNeil lead them to the green. Oh, and that was an ugly start for the 31. Stinson's losing it. Spins out in front of your leaders, and it is a yard sale in the background there. Cars, parts flying everywhere. How did everything go so badly there on the restart? I wonder if there was a bump that went wrong. It's kind of hard to tell. And sometimes in iRacing you do have some weird connection. I think what actually happens here is when it makes contact, the 48 and the 31, he just tries to save it, hits the apron, and it gets all out of control on him. Trying to save it, the car loose, wild, and out of control. It looked like he had saved it at that point, but he's still riding on that apron, and the apron actually caught him off guard and spun him across the racetrack. Looks like Fritz makes it through. Brzezowski, Hall made it through. And fortunately, Josh King gets involved in another caution here tonight. The 92 is well involved in this, of Vince Brent. So that was just a miscalculation of a restart, it seems like. Unfortunately, out of the lead, that leaves you a lot of room for more mistakes to happen in the background. 92, the 99 get into it there. That is Kenneth Redinger making it through without too much damage. That is the 33 there of Zach Stevens getting spun out there. Let's watch Josh King on the camera now and see how for as many cars that are spinning out, it doesn't look like a whole lot of them got too much damage. The hard hits were really, I mean, you can see the rear, right rear on the 31 is toast. Unfortunately, it looks like that's going to take some time to repair. These cars are very rigid, but the one weak point is definitely those, the wheels. Well, that definitely hit the shuffle button here. Looks like those that are down on pit road spending some extra time on repairs. Looks like Zach Stevens, Trey Spears, Vince Brent. Your previous leader, Jay Stinson, he's going to have an extensive visit to pit road, it looks like. Sylvain Seguin and Lauren Vincent also on pit road, trying to get some repairs done. Well, now is kind of going to be the point in time where the drivers that did pit earlier, the advantage is starting to slowly creep away from them. The other drivers that stayed out, they're going to be doing just fine as the laps are going to be working in their favor. Less laps that they have to run against those with fresher tires and the full tanks of gas. In the meanwhile, too, as they are under caution here, they're able to save some more fuel. It's honestly a win for the drivers that have been able to stay out. We still haven't seen what those in the back could do. They've got fresher tires. They've got a full tank of gas. They are not going to let off until they see the checkered flag waving. We will go back with 9 laps left in this race to the green flag. Doubled up for the restart. Your leaders, Garrett Walden and John McNeil, followed by Josh Hall and Matt Parasini, Matthew Fritz and Nathan Berzowski, Brad King and Zach Lockett, Kenneth Rendiger, and Ryan Gomes. So, honestly, anyone in the top 10 could still steal this deal here tonight. It is not over until it's over. The drivers are going to have to dot their I's, cross their T's here, make sure they don't make any miscalculations on the restart, because it could be the last restart of the race, or it could be one of few left to go. From what I heard, they only have a limited attempt at green-white checkered, so it's not an unlimited attempt like NASCAR of today. So we will see if they even have to exercise the green-white checkered clause here tonight. Pace car pulls off, puts the field back in the hands of the drivers. They're going to get rolling with 9 laps to go.
Green.
Nice clean start out of the 48 of John McNeil. Josh Hall has the advantageous inside line here behind the leader. The outside lane is not getting going here yet. Might not be go time quite so soon with 9 to go, but once you're down to single digit, there's really no time like now to start getting the good out of what you've got left. The outside lane growing in numbers here. Drivers maybe looking up to the high side, thinking they could drop their position to jump up high here. Yeah, just like that, the 43 does it. That's Garrett Walden. He's not content with sitting. Oh, and the 93 as well jumps to the top side. Zach Lockett. And now, John McNeil trying to block both lines. He opens up the door for Josh Hall on the inside. Josh Hall has a good push there from the, I want to say that's the 67 of Fritz. But the inside line does not get going as the outside line drives around him like a freight train. Oh, and they're wrecking. They're going to save it, though. How in the world? The race stays green. Josh Hall rejoins the racetrack. In the meanwhile, it's still John McNeil up front leading. That was a wild and crazy save there out of those drivers that were involved in what could have been a near disaster. Still got the drivers kind of calm, cool, and collected right now, waiting it out. They know that there's still 7 laps on the board. There's no reason to jump to the high side and try to win it on lap 93. Nathan Berzowski back on the high side there, the top of the leaders on the outside. 93 is giving a big push to John McNeil. Zach Lockett, he's locked in on the back bumper of the 48. Jesse Whittington still in this, even after getting in the wreck a little bit earlier. Go ahead and take one final bounce to him during the racing action here to do one final side-by-side view. And it's not coming easy for your man there on the in-car view. He's having to work for it, and that outside line is not working with him at the moment. We're down to 3 laps to go. For anyone else to jump into the mix, they're going to need a miracle here, it looks like. As it's probably going to come down to someone in the top 5, that outside line just not materializing at the time that it needs to materialize. If it were to make a difference, it would be right now, and they need that outside line to try and take the win here tonight. 2 laps to go this time across the line. Laps are running out. As it is your leaders there of John McNeil, Zach Lockett, Matthew Fritz, Brad King, and Matt Parasini, your top 5. Josh Hall looking at trying to make that outside line work here. It's taken so long for that outside line to actually materialize, and now, as the white flag is in hand, 1 more lap to go. This is where it all comes down to, the final push at the end of the race. Who's going to have what it takes to get the win in the Daytona 250 here tonight? Ooh, good bump there for Fritz off of the front bumper of Brad King. Those two might be looking at trying to split the difference here and try to find victory lane. Are they going to be idly sitting by as the 2 leaders walk away with this one? No, Fritz goes high. The good push from Brad King. Side by side, rolling into the lap traffic ahead. It looks like the lap traffic's going to be a no factor here. Oh, and the leader is wrecking. Fritz is in it. The wreck happens with entire field involved. Wow. I think there's only about 1 car that makes it through that, and that is the 33 of Zach Stevens, coming through victorious. Obviously, you know, that's pending. But the unofficial results show Zach Stevens over Chase Greer and Josh Hall. Holy cow, folks. We got to see that again. That was too crazy. So let's just hop on board here with the 81 on the final lap of the race here as all chaos breaks out. Josh Hall at this point is running about 8th. 33 of Stevens running about in 7th. The wreck's going to start happening in turn 3 here. The seas parted just well enough, and he even got corrected there. The 39 kept him rolling straight. Josh Hall got lucky to bring that thing home 3rd. Nathan Brzezowski in 4th. Justin Parham in 5th. Wow, folks. Doesn't get much crazier than that. Heartbreak for those that were leading on the final lap, though. I mean, holy cow. That's just a heartbreak hotel for the 48 of John McNeil. The others that were involved as well, Matthew Fritz, Zach Lockett. It's just a heartbreak, man. Matthew Fritz he kept it rolling all the way to a 16th place finish. One more replay before we get into our podium finishers of the evening. got the camera on Fritz here. He had nowhere else to go. He was sandwiched in it, into the wall. He's kept his foot buried in it, though. Look at, he's trying to drive through the carnage, the chaos. The car obviously wounded. It doesn't want to roll. He's just trying to roll it, get it up the track, get it around the cars, and still get a qualified finish. Even got drivers like Jesse Whittington drives around him. Oh man. Fritz gets the tough luck award here, but still brings it home across the start finish line. Alrighty, folks. And with that, let us interview our podium finishers here tonight. Coming in with a solid third is none other than Intensity Broadcasting's own Josh Hall. Do you copy, Josh?
Got you loud and clear.
Man, what a wild, crazy finish that race had. And, there were so many alternating strategies throughout the race. I figured fuel mileage was definitely one of your concerns. Were you concerned about the fuel mileage there, running to the finish?
That last stage, we knew that the way the yellow fell, we knew we had to save a little bit to make it to the end. We knew we could do it. I topped off with one to go on that, I think, a second to last caution there. And I was pretty much good to the end. But yeah, it just saving, trying to pick the right lane, trying to keep yourself out of trouble tonight. It was a wild race. I give these guys a lot of credit. We had a lot of fun out there. The first two stages going completely caution free. I think we had 3 cautions there at the end. It was a great race. It was a wild race.
No, it was very exciting from the seat here. I was watching, and it gives me more excitement for the following races to come. So, yeah, great start to the season at third. You kind of got lucky there, going through the chaos and carnage at the end. What was going through your mind as you saw the smoke and debris flying through the air?
I was going to see the checker. I was going to see God, one or the other. No, it's one of those things where you try to just put your head down, just keep it going, keep looking straight, and there's not much you can really do in that situation. I got put in a bad spot a few laps before that. I was running, I think, second on the bottom lane. Not really sure what happened, but next thing I knew, I saw the I think it was the 48 in my door, and I thought my race was over. Then I was able to sneak back up in line, fortunately, right in front of my teammate Ryan there, and we just jumped up to the high line. Unfortunately, I apologize to him. I hung him out there, but the 24, he jumped out of line there on that last lap, and I had way too much momentum to try to push him. Because if I tried to push him, it would just kill the momentum on the high side and wrecked everybody. So, but a lot of credit to these guys. Again, thanks everybody who pushed me. My teammates Ryan and Trey, we were talking all race long, trying to get something going there tonight, and got this Dev Sports Cards machine up to the top spot, or up into the top 3.
Well, yeah, pardon me. You just answered the other question I was going to ask you. Your thankses and appreciation for those that got you here. So, with that,
yeah, of course I got it. Well, I got a couple of other shout outs I got to throw out here too. I got to thank, of course, Dev Sports Cards on the front here. Tommy's Tattoo, Brightside, Star Bright Inc., the Butt Kicker, Intensity Broadcasting. You guys do a great job up there. I'm going to run an Intensity car one of these races here as well. So check out for that one. Of course, friends and family watch at home. And thanks for coming in this season. Looking forward to the rest of the season. It's going to be a fantastic one.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Josh, and congratulations yet again on a great finish here tonight.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
We'll see you in the next one.
Take care.
And so, pardon me, folks, I need some water, I think, after getting so excited through the finish of that one. We're going to go ahead and hop over to our next driver in the podium with that of Chase Greer. Do you copy, Chase?
Yep, got you, bud. How you doing?
Good, good. I'm a little bit hoarse from all the excitement and yelling at the racetrack, but that was quite the exciting finish there, wasn't it?
Yeah. Once I couldn't get clear to go to the outside lane. My only real hope was if something like that happened, and I started seeing smoke, so I took a hard left coming out of four, and luckily a little bit of contact, but was able to keep it straight, and get second. So I can't complain.
You harness your inner Cole Trickle there, like Days of Thunder, and just drove through the smoke.
Yeah, essentially saw smoke. I lifted a little, turned left, and was like, "All right, let's see who makes it." And then coming off the turn, I saw one car making. I was like, "Well, I guess I can't win, but hopefully I can get the second place." And worked out. Luckily, it was a teammate ahead of me, so 1-2 for the team's pretty good.
Nice, yeah. Team 1-2 is always awesome, and it's always kind of a wild and crazy race when you come to Daytona. These super speedway races are always a bit of a wild card. Before heading into the race tonight, how did you feel about your chances? It seemed like you had, a good race car in the duels, so you must be pretty accustomed to these super speedway tracks.
Yeah, I felt pretty good. I think I was up front a lot of the duels, and then I got my line just got lost a lot of momentum coming to the white, so I got seventh. And I was up front most of stage two. I think I won stage two, and then I sort of screwed up after that stage and sent us to the back. And then after that, it's really hard to pass in these cars. You can't really go to the outside as well unless somebody on the bottom screws up. So everybody was doing a good job, but was able to slowly make my way back up there and get the second.
Well, and with that, is there any friends, family, sponsors you want to thank here tonight?
All right, I know my mother-in-law watches this. Kinsley watches it, so shout out to them, and thanks for everybody at SCSRA and you for doing this, and y'all have a good night.
Yep, have a good one. See you in the next race. And the main man of the evening, Zach Stevens, who got the win. Do you copy, Zach?
I got you, man.
Man, what were you thinking on the last lap when all you could see was a wall of cars coming around, spinning, smoke and debris flying through the air? Is that just normal for a super speedway race, or is that one of the first few times you've been in a situation kind of like that?
Super speedway, pretty normal. For some of the races. I personally haven't never made it through something like that and won a race, so that was pretty cool. I just honestly just thinking keep my foot in it from like the back stretch all the way to the finish line. I didn't lift. I was just on the back of the 44 pushing, and they got together and the seas just parted, and I made it through. So just hard to pass in this car, man. They took away the side draft a few updates ago, and ever since then, it's not great to pass and everything. It used to be pretty good. You could side draft and make some passes and stuff, but you got to have like a pretty long line, really good pushing to even try and make a pass on the outside. So got pretty lucky, but sometimes you got to be lucky.
Right? Yeah. It looked like you came from what, about 12th back there on the last lap. Was it you running about 12th?
Yeah, it was somewhere around there. It was outside the top 10. People just kept jumping up to try and make a move, and like I said, you got to have a lot of help up there. So they jump up and they just kind of die off. So the inside line just kept moving up a little bit, and I thought about jumping up there one time to get with my teammate Matt Fritz, but the run was just too big, and I was scared we was gonna wreck and everything. It's all happening so fast, so I just stayed on the inside line, just trying to get all I could get, and I just got lucky that they wrecked in front of me.
Yeah, no, that outside line was definitely hard to get materialized. I saw it a few times during the race. It would, someone go up there and it'd almost be a death sentence to go high. You get hung out to dry. But is there any friends,
Yeah,
family, sponsors you want to thank here tonight?
yeah. Thank all my teammates on Venom. For the admins for putting on the league. You for broadcasting. Moser Racing on the car. Also got Crown Lift Trucks on the car. And my dad and my uncles if they're watching. If they're not watching now, they'll probably watch it back. they usually tune in. So
Well, I'm new to this stuff, but I've already kind of developed that Venom Racing has a really, really strong following. So congratulations on your win here tonight, and also for the team getting the win here to open the season. I'm sure we'll see more of you here in the following races for the rest of the year.
oh yeah, man.
Have a good one.
All right, man. You too. Appreciate it.
Yep. And that, folks, is a wrap here tonight. We got through it with only one internet outage on my behalf, so it got cut into 2 or 3 segments. It's really only 2 true segments. You got about a 1-hour first segment and about a 1-hour second segment here for the race tonight. But there you have it, folks. The first race in the book, Zach Stevens, your winner. Coming across the line there in the number 33 Moza Racing for Venom Racing. Venom Racing had quite a few drivers in the mix here, 2 of which finished in the top 2. So Chase Greer and Zach Stevens brought it home. Unfortunately for Matthew Fritz, he had a great run and he could have been fighting for the win here, but just got tangled up in the wreck at the wrong place and the wrong time. So glad to be along for the ride with y'all, folks. This is going to be a fun season, and I'm going to be along for the ride and excited for the ride. So hopefully y'all have a great night. This has been a fun one. Stay safe out there. And it's Jakester.